everyone, and welcome to the Bold and Beautiful podcast. I'm your host, Amanda, and I've titled this week's episode, This week we definitely have all the good feels. The Logans are happy, the Spencers are happy. Everyone is so freaking happy, and I loved it. Loved it because for months we've all just been really sad. Actually, I shouldn't say everyone, because it's definitely not all sunshine and rainbows for the Foresters right now. For Steffi, Thomas, or Ridge for that matter. And of course, Taylor is MIA. That's convenient. Things are also looking bleak for Flo, Shauna, Zoe, Xander, and Reese, but we are going to get into that soon enough. Let's get into our messages now. Our first message comes from Ken C. 2013. You all are familiar with Ken. Let's hear what Ken had to say.
Hey Amanda, how are you? It's Ken. I just want to let you know that I saw today's Tuesday, but Monday and today, oh my goodness, give Jackie another Emmy. She never disappoints. When she had to give the baby back to Hope, well, not really, it was Hope's in the first place, but oh my goodness, everyone is doing such a great job in this storyline. Annika, Scott, Katrina, who else? Oh, Matthew, little Henry, the babies, they are doing such a great job in this storyline. I'm glad it's over. Personally, we had it practically the whole summer, but I'm glad that Hope got her baby back, her and Liam. And I'm just ready for, you know me, I want my Bill and Steffi reunited. This is just me. I can't wait to see Don on Thursday. He gets to meet her for the first time. And it's going to be a good scene. Everyone is doing a great job in this storyline. So if they don't get nominated for Emmys, I want to boycott down the Emmy station and tell them they need to be nominated. They need to be nominated because they're kicking butt. They really are. So I hope you're doing good. And thank you so much for adding me to your podcast. And hopefully one day I can co-host with you because you're doing an amazing job covering the show. And I love hearing people's feedbacks about it. So yeah, keep up the good work. And you have a fan for life. Thank you. Talk to you soon. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for your message, Ken. I could not agree more. Everyone on this show is doing such a great job. The children are blowing my mind on this show lately. Thank you again, Ken, for your message. Okay, next up, I posted on my social media that Steffi is completely heartbroken, and I wanted to see what you guys thought. Were most of you on Steffi's side, or were you like Chelsea and really didn't have much sympathy for her? So here's what some of you had to say about Steffi's situation. And I'm probably going to get some of these names wrong, so I apologize in advance if I do. Maria Macias 4114 says that Steffi needs to get over it because she has Kelly, she has her daughter, and she needs to let Liam and Hope be. Next up, Speak All Day, SBK All Day. You know I'm cold-hearted, but Monday melted me. Couldn't agree more. Next up, Steffi D. Marcelli. Liam can go back to Steffi. He has a child with her too. That is absolutely true. Can't deny it. CJ Murray 13. Love you, Steffi, with hearts. Renette 81. They better make Steffi go hard now. I agree. I don't want her running back to Liam. I do not. Next up, Posh Hippie Mama. My guess, Steffi got pregnant with Liam's baby on the 4th of July, but doesn't know it yet. Lots of drama because Liam will now have 2 kids with her and he isn't married technically to Hope anymore. So what to do. Plus, This will give Steffi the sibling she wanted for Kelly and help her with the loss of Phoebe and Beth. Next up, Erksbug says Jackie has an Emmy coming her way. I was crying, especially when she dropped to the floor. Oh my God, it was like her first baby dying all over again. I know. I was devastated. The next one, I do not have a clue how to say. It's DEMIRDJIANSILVA. So something Silva. I feel bad for Steffi. She lost Phoebe and Liam. Next up, Soggol or Soggol, Soggol. Brooke doesn't have any sympathy for Steffi. She is heartless and rude, and I don't know why Liam acts like that. Liam is definitely a mystery to everyone, so don't feel bad, you're not the only one. From what I can tell, it's about even. There's supporters for Steffi, and there's also people who have little sympathy for her. So, it's a very mixed emotions out there, guys. Next, I have some congratulations messages for Hope and Liam. So, Christy R. Barr says, while I'm sad for Steffi, I am so happy that Hope and Liam got Beth back. Now I'm sure that what happens next is that Steffi is going to end up being pregnant by Liam. But please get rid of Thomas. I can't stand him. Okay. From the messages I've received, it is an overwhelming amount of people who think Steffi got pregnant when she slept with Liam on the 4th of July. I do have a lot to say about this, but I'm going to refrain and I'm not going to say it at this moment. So our next message comes from DeckDo46. Yay! Congratulations to Brooke, Hope, Liam, and baby Beth, and the entire Logan, Spencer, and Forrester family. You guys are doing great entertaining. Next up, Celine Dion 44 says they are so cute together. I totally agree with that statement. Couldn't agree more. Lizzie Luna does not agree. She thinks they are not. And Tosin68 also does not agree. Next up, Paulette Winnipoo is very happy for Hope. Van Over Elizabeth sends her congratulations. Janet Melton 564, who we've heard from several times. Hi Janet. I am so happy for Hope. Congratulations on getting back Beth. So overwhelmingly, everyone is really happy for Hope and Liam. There are a few people who are not, and that's understandable. Everyone has the right to their own opinion. Our last message comes from Pinky 1972. OMG, I never thought about the fact that Steffi could be pregnant. No. She needs to get someone who doesn't continue to go back and forth. Steffi is my favorite. I totally agree with Pinky. I want Steffi to find someone who loves her for her and her only. Thank you so much, guys, for all your comments and messages. This week, I'm going to pose 2 questions. I'm going to put it on my social media, and then I'm going to tell you now, and I'll remind you at the end of the episode, hopefully if I remember. My first question that I want to know what everyone thinks. Is Thomas redeemable? Or have they gone too far? Love to know what you guys think about that. Question number 2. Do you think Hope and Liam should raise Douglas? Steffi should raise Douglas? Or do you think Brooke and Ridge should raise Douglas? That's my questions. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about those. Okay, guys, it is time to get into the news. I have talked about this podcast before. It's called We Write Sex. I will be doing a collaboration with them. We actually are going to record it this Tuesday. I interviewed one of the creators of this very hilarious podcast. It's one of my favorites. And I will be releasing that bonus interview sometime this week or next week. I'm going to find out the date when our collaboration is going to be released, and then I will let you guys know. I really want you guys to check it out. So just keep an eye out for that. And we talk a lot about our collaboration and exactly what we're going to do. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Moving on, the next thing I want to tell y'all about is some good news. The ratings are in, and congratulations are in order for the B&B. They outscored all other soaps in the crucial women's 25 to 54 demographic in the U.S. Not only that, they were actually the top rated show in all of daytime television in the 25 to 54 demographic, including the other soaps, game shows, and talk shows. This is the first time in the B&B's 32 years on the air that they have reached this achievement, this milestone. And it is definitely no surprise to me because the performance, the writing, everything has been so brilliantly done. Congratulations to the Bold and the Beautiful. That's all the news I have for this week. Enough with the chit chat. Let's get to the recap. So that brings us into Monday, the 12th. The show opens at Steffi's, but we're going to circle back to that in a minute. We're going to start at Forrester with Sally and Wyatt. Wyatt explains that Flo kept the worst secret possible from everyone. Then he tells Sally everything. The whole ugly truth. Phoebe is Beth. Sally is stunned, to say the least. They both agree Thomas is a bastard. I think we all agree with that. They also both feel really bad for Steffi. Wyatt tells her that he feels very betrayed by Flo. And she reminds him that no one is perfect. No one can be perfect. It's that simple. You would think he would know that, right? So Wyatt apologizes again. And I loved how Sally reminded him that Flo came to town and she did one thing wrong and he just dropped her. Just like that. And Wyatt admits that Sally's mistake is nothing compared to Flo's. Really, Wyatt? Really? That's what we've all been saying. Basically, Wyatt has crawled back to Sally with his tail between his legs. He tells her that he doesn't have any expectations, but Sally is not buying it. She makes sure that he knows if she does give him another chance, she wants to be wined and dined. And that she will definitely make him suffer, and she will enjoy every minute of it. But Wyatt just wants Sally to keep smiling, and then they hug it out. They did not kiss. Okay, guys, get your tissue out. So now we head to Steffi's with Steffi, Ridge, Brooke, Hope, Liam, and the girls. They are all basically at an impasse because Hope wants to take her baby home. But Steffi is crying and she's telling Hope that she can't just apologize and take her baby away. Everything's just happening too fast for Steffi. So Ridge tries to intervene. He wants Hope to do what's best for the baby. Brooke, of course, thinks what's best for the baby is for her to be with her mother. And poor Steffi, she's so upset and she doesn't want them to take the baby. I think she's just in shock. But Hope stands her ground and she's taking Beth home. Ridge and Brooke, of course, disagree on what the best thing to do is in this crazy situation. So Hope appeals to the mother and Steffi, and it works. Liam and Hope both feel horrible because they don't want to hurt Steffi. But it's time for Steffi to let Beth go. So Ridge asked Hope if she would be willing to take a few days to adjust. But Hope is not. She's lost enough time with her child as it is. So then they discussed Dr. Buckingham and how horrible he is. Agreed. I think we can all agree on that. Liam gives a heartfelt speech. He tears up and he thanks Steffi for being such a good mother to Beth. But Hope was robbed of being her mother. And it's time to give her back. So they both assure Steffi that she won't be pushed out. But they need to start their life together with Beth. And poor Steffi. I feel horrible for her. She is totally not prepared for this. She tells them that she wants to fight it, but that she won't because she loves them too much. And it would not be good for the girls in the long run. Beth is Hope's baby and she needs to be with her mother. So finally Steffi comes around. And it was very sweet and very sad at the same time because Steffi packed a bag for Beth with all her favorite things. And she held her. And while she held her, she just basically told her how much she loves her and how much she loved being her mommy, but that it's time to let her go. And Steffi is devastated. She's crying so hard as she watches them all walk out the door with Beth. And then Ridge grabs her and she has a complete breakdown. She's crying so hard. She just falls to the floor and Ridge just holds her. And I felt so bad for her. I was crying. I was truly crying. And by the way, Jacqueline's acting skills are just beyond. Like, I was so into this. I had to get tissue. It was amazing. And that's how Monday ends. So that brings us into Tuesday. The show opens at Brooke's house with Ridge and Brooke. And Brooke is so thankful to Steffi for her selfless act. She feels horrible for Steffi, but she's also happy to have her granddaughter back. And I really know the feeling because I feel the same way. Very mixed emotions. Ridge keeps calling Thomas because he's very worried about him. He wants Thomas to face the music. They are also worried about Douglas. And as they're talking about Douglas, he arrives home. And the poor boy is worried because he thinks his dad is mad at him. And I really feel so bad for this poor little boy. Like, how much, he's been through so much already. So Ridge and Brooke assure him that it's okay, no one is mad at him. He did the right thing. And now Hope has her baby back. Douglas tells them that his daddy was mean, but he really wanted to help Hope. So Brooke assures him that no one will ever forget what he's done. And Douglas goes out to the cabin to see Hope. Ridge takes a call, and there's still no sign of Reese. Then, to my surprise, Ridge apologizes for not listening to Brooke when she warned him about Thomas. Brooke totally understands because that's his son. And she gets it. Then Brooke goes out to the cabin. Now we head out to the cabin with Hope and Liam and Beth. They're arriving home and they are so happy to have their baby back. It was such a sweet family moment. Brooke, by the way, had a ton of baby stuff brought to the cabin from storage. And I thought, wow, that was really nice of her. So Liam and Hope reminisce about when she told him she was pregnant and their happy 9 months and then losing her and then finding her. And she's an absolute miracle. And I agree. It was a sweet family moment. Then they start talking about Thomas. And this cracked me up because Hope tells Liam what was going on earlier. So like the parts that he doesn't know about when they were at the hotel and stuff. And how Thomas was frantic after Douglas called him. And she had to rush to get dressed. And it just was so cute because the look on Liam's face when she said that, his face just fell. And he's like, oh, okay, I get it. I mean, you were on your honeymoon. And he's all sad. And then Hope tells them, no, we never slept together. We've never been intimate. And his face, the look on his face, he is so relieved. I've never seen someone so relieved before. He was just totally relieved, and it was too funny. So Hope is livid with Thomas's behavior, and she takes off her wedding ring because he's just gross. And she also assures Liam that she never stopped loving him, and that's why she couldn't be intimate with Thomas. Then Douglas comes to the cabin to see Beth, and they both tell him how proud they are of him, how brave he is. He's their hero because now they have their family back, and it was so brave of him to go against his dad. And they're all happy, and it's so cute. And then Brooke arrives. She comes to get Douglas because it's his bedtime, and they leave. Liam and Hope are both shocked at the way Thomas treated Douglas because he's an innocent victim in all of this. And then they get ready to put Beth to bed, and Hope is so happy to have her family back, and Liam is too. And I was very happy for them, not gonna lie. And that's how Tuesday ends. So that brings us into Wednesday. The show opens at Brooke's house with Katie, Donna, Ridge, and Brooke. Katie and Donna are super happy for Hope, and they can't wait to see her and Beth. Out at the cabin, Hope and Liam are enjoying their first morning together with Beth. It's honestly such a relief to see Hope happy again. It really is. It's time to introduce Beth to the family. Back at the big house, the party is getting bigger. Eric and Quinn arrive to see the new happy family. Quinn is visibly upset, and I'm pretty sure it's because of her connection to Flo and Shauna. Eric and Quinn both feel horrible for Steffi, of course, but they're also really happy for Hope and Liam. Join the club. So they start discussing Flo, and of course, Quinn tries to take up for Flo. But Ridge and the Logan women do not want to hear it. So Quinn decides that she needs to leave and go see Shauna and Flo. Just a side note, I found this strange because they made a point to tell us that Quinn is leaving to go talk to them, but then we never get to see the conversation between them. Maybe it's next week, I don't know, but I just found that kind of strange. Everyone is outraged at the whole situation, and they all agree that Reese and Flo should go to prison. Then Hope and Liam walk in, and they're all distracted by Beth and how cute she is. Ridge is happy, but he's also sad, and it's obvious. He's really worried about Steffi and Thomas. Like, it's just obvious. And of course, the subject of Thomas comes up, and Eric cannot believe Thomas kept this from Hope. He could have stopped her pain, and he didn't. And they are all shocked by his behavior. Then they all praise Liam for figuring it out, but Liam insists that it was all Douglas. And Douglas comes running down the stairs, adorable as ever. And they all let him know how proud of him they are for being honest. And then Ridge tells Hope not to worry. They loved her as Phoebe, and they will love her now as Beth. I thought that was really sweet of Ridge to say, considering. Now, the next part cracked me up, okay? Now we're going to head over to Vinny's apartment. Thomas is staying with Vinny, And he's crazier than ever. He is crazier than ever. He tells Vinny that he should be with his wife Hope. Then he throws a tantrum and knocks everything off of Vinny's coffee table. He's completely manic at this point. He's pacing and he's really, really, really amped up. He's actually scaring Vinny. And Vinny's trying to be a good friend. So Ridge calls and Vinny tells Thomas, hey, you know what? You really should at least send your dad a text. Because he's really worried. And of course, Thomas does not want to hear a lecture from Ridge. Which, I kind of get that because you know he's going to hear a lecture. So Thomas is having a pity party for himself, basically. Oh my goodness. No one cares about him. No one ever thinks about his feelings. Seriously? Seriously? Because you think about everyone's feelings? Yeah, right. So now he's really worked up. And he actually says his own kid betrayed him. That little ungrateful. And I'm like, whoa. Like, wow. Okay. He does not deserve to have that little boy. Period. Then he calms himself down. He can fix this. He can make Hope understand. And I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, he is so delusional. He is convinced that he can win Hope back. All he needs to do is make her forget Liam. Good luck with that. In other words, all he needs to do is get rid of Liam. That's what I'm worried about. Because I think that's what he meant. So now I'm worried for Liam's well-being, for sure. Now we head back over to Brooke's house, and we get a very sweet Logan women moment. Donna, Katie, and Brooke are all crying tears of joy. Then Brooke gives a sweet speech about how happy she is to have her granddaughter back, where she belongs. And I couldn't agree more. Then Liam tells them how happy he is to be there with Hope and his daughter. How it's the best thing that could ever happen to him. Hope is so happy. And then they kiss in front of everyone. Okay, so I'm pretty sure Liam is going to go back to Hope. I feel like it's safe to say that, but then again, you just never know. And that's how Wednesday ends. So that brings us into Thursday. The show opens at the cabin, but we're going to circle back. We're going to start at Forrester with Brooke and Ridge in the executive office. Brooke calls Wyatt looking for Flo and Shauna, but he hasn't seen them. And Ridge tells her not to worry. They will turn up because remember, they still have their license. Ridge and Brooke are about to meet with Zoe. And I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do yet. At this point, when I was watching it, I was like, uh-oh. I've been waiting for this. So Brooke thinks that the reason Ridge hasn't called the police is because of Thomas. And I'm like, well, yeah, of course. Would you want your son to go to prison? I don't think anyone wants their child to go to prison. Across the hall in the side office, Zoe is freaking out when Xander walks in. She's so scared because she doesn't have any idea what's going to happen. She's very happy to see him, but he's not as happy to see her. He's very disappointed that Douglas is the one who told Liam. He was really hoping that she did the right thing, but of course she didn't. But he does offer to go with her to face Ridge. So they put on brave faces and they walk into the office and Ridge and Brooke are waiting for them. They demand to know Xander's story. So Xander explains his part of the whole thing. Like, he explains everything, how he got involved, like his whole thing in this big mess. And they are shocked to hear about Thomas's part in all of this, especially the Emma part. Now Ridge is even more worried than he was before about Thomas. Next, it's Zoe's turn to explain from the very beginning her part in all of this. Ridge is trying hard to understand why Zoe didn't say anything, because he just doesn't get it. So Zoe admits that she has daddy issues, basically, and she couldn't betray his love. But this is not an excuse. It's sad, but it's not an excuse. And to tell you the truth, there isn't one. There are no words that will fix this mistake. There's no words that they could say that would make any of this better. So Ridge decides that all they did in reality is lie, which isn't a criminal offense. But they're both fired, and they are never to set foot in the building again. Also, Ridge gets a call that Reese has been arrested. Xander and Zoe express how sorry they are for what they've done, but they get it. They get it because they deserve to be fired. They deserve worse than that, but they at least deserve this. Now we head over to the cabin where we get a very sweet Spencer family moment. So Hope is asking questions about Beth because she's trying to learn as much as she can about her daughter. And Liam is answering the best that he can. And then they get a visit from the baby inspector, Will, Katie, and Bill. And of course, Bill has a humongous pink teddy bear. I expect no less. And I was very happy that Bill was finally back on my screen. So Bill is so happy that Beth is back where she belongs because she's a Spencer. And I love Will because he's so funny and he always tells Bill like it is. He just tells him the hard truth and it's always hilarious. So Bill is being Bill and he tells Liam that Ridge's people better find Buckingham before his people do. And I was thinking, Reese should probably turn himself in to Ridge's people because I would much rather be captured by Ridge's people than Bill's people because we all know what Bill's capable of. Even though Reese deserves it. I'm not arguing that. Liam and Bill have a sweet father and son moment. And I think Liam is finally over the Steffi thing. And it helps that he's not with Steffi anymore, I think. But I feel like he's actually forgiven him for the most part. And Bill wanted to help Liam, but he didn't know how. And he actually admits that he prayed for Liam, Hope, and Beth. And it was a really good father-son bonding moment. Very sweet. And then Bill holds Beth for the first time. And, of course, it was adorable. And that's how Thursday ends. So that brings us into Friday, the 16th. The show opens at Brooke's house with the Logan women. Beth, Brooke, Katie, Donna, and Hope. They are all so happy for Hope. And they're all just fawning over Beth. Then the mood changes when they start thinking and talking about Flo and Shauna. Flo is such a stranger to them now. They don't understand how she could betray all of them right to their face, etc., etc. And I could not agree more. Then Hope leaves to go put Beth down for a nap. And the Logan sisters have a bonding moment. You all know about the Logan bonding moments. They're all in tears and it's so sweet and you get it. Don't get me wrong. Their acting and ability to cry on demand is just totally amazing. Absolutely amazing. It was very sweet to see them all so happy. I need to apologize for my dog. If you hear him in the background, again, he's throwing a fit. And so he's purposely making all the noise that he could possibly make. And so I apologize for him. Now we head over to the cabin with Shauna and Flo. Now, these two are ridiculous. I'm sorry. I am sorry, but they are. So you're trying to get on Hope's good side. So let's break into her house. Okay, let's sneak in / break in to her house, because that's gonna make her like you more. Like, why am I not surprised? So Flo plans to plead her case to Hope to keep herself out of jail. They hear Hope coming in, and Shauna runs out the back door, and Flo hides in the kitchen. And I'm thinking, really, that's your plan? You're gonna jump out and scare her? Like, what are you doing? So Hope comes in, and, she doesn't know anyone's there, so Flo just, pops out of the kitchen, and Hope's like, what the? Yeah. You know what? I really want Hope to slap the hell out of Flo so bad. I want to see a good slap so bad. Stephanie used to give the best slaps. She was always slapping, usually Brooke, but she was always slapping someone. So Flo, of course, starts crying, and she starts trying to plead her case. She's so sorry, etc., etc. And Hope stops her, and she goes to put Beth down. When she comes back, she pretty much just goes off on Shauna. She tells her to keep her mouth shut and listen. She wants to know how in the hell Flo could do something so heartless to her. How? Back over at the big house, Shauna sneaks in to Brooks. And I'm like, what is wrong with these people? So, they're already mad at you. Let's sneak into their house. What is going on? So she sneaks in, and they demand to know where Flo is. So Shauna tells them that she's with Hope at the cabin, and they all gasp, like, oh my gosh. Shauna is trying to plead her case, and she's trying to plead her case also for Flo. No matter what Shauna says, Katie, Donna, and Brooke are not having any of it. Everything she says, they have something to say back. None of her excuses are going to work, not with these three. So they get in a little huddle, and they are talking about whether they should go to Hope's and save her, or if they should let Flo and her talk. So they ultimately decide they're going to let Flo and Hope talk it out. And Shauna tries to warn them about Thomas. And she keeps trying to put in, Flo is not the bad guy and blah, blah, blah. But of course, they don't want to hear anything. They don't want to hear anything she has to say, really. And they especially don't want her talking about Thomas. Okay, I get it. She has no right to say anything about anyone. And they even comment that in all of this, when all of this was happening, what was Shauna doing? And Shauna does admit that she gave her daughter really horrible advice. And if she could go back, she would change it. She would. But at the time, she thought she was protecting her daughter. But it doesn't matter. It does not matter because they are not hearing it. She should have did the right thing, etc. So Brooke then assures Shauna that it doesn't matter what Flo says. She can say anything. She can go on and on. But Hope will never forgive her. Now we head back out to the cabin. And the way that Hope talked to Flo was so satisfying. I've been waiting to see this for months. Hope, she's upset. So at times she talks at, a normal level. At times she's yelling at Flo. It was just, I loved it. I loved it. Hope just can't believe she was so wrong about Flo. She actually thought Flo loved her. And she was so wrong. Flo betrayed her. And the worst part is that she continued to betray her for months. And she really doesn't want to hear any of Flo's excuses. But Flo begs her to listen. So she gives her a chance. And I'm not going to write all this down because Flo gives Hope the same speech that we've all heard for months and months. She begs Hope for forgiveness. She was wrong. She was scared. She was being pressured. Thomas was threatening her. The same exact thing, excuse after excuse, and none of them are good enough. So of course, she begs Hope for forgiveness, and she tells Hope she's wrong, and she really does love her, and she wants to know if there's any way possible that Hope can forgive her. And I'm like, seriously? Are you kidding me right now? Did I hear that right? Did she really just ask Hope to forgive her? Like 2 days or a day after they found out the truth? Like, not gonna happen. I would be really surprised if Hope forgives her. I mean, don't get me wrong, Hope is one of the nicest characters on this show. She is one of the nicest people on here, on the whole show. So it's possible, but I just don't see it. I do not see that happening. I really don't. And that's how Friday ends. So Monday, we'll see. We'll see what Hope says. And that brings us to the end of the week. We end on somewhat of a cliffhanger. Okay, guys, it is that time. Let's analyze this and break it all down. First, let's talk about Wyatt and Sally. I'm literally scared for Sally because Wyatt has feelings for both women. Both her and Flo, and that's never good. This reminds me of like The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. I don't know if you guys watch it, but whenever The Bachelor falls in love with two people, or whenever he has strong feelings for two women, it's never good. It is never good. And in the long run, they seldom work out. And I am really scared for Sally because I feel like Wyatt is super upset. So he had like a knee-jerk reaction and immediately ran back to Sally. But what he really needs to do is take some time alone to figure out who he's really in love with. Okay? Like, come on. I do not want Sally to get hurt again. And I have this feeling that Wyatt is not completely done or over Flo. Now let's talk about Thomas. Okay. Thomas needs help. I actually don't think he should go to jail necessarily. I think he should go to a mental facility because he's not right. I think he is suffering from some kind of mental problem that he really needs help with. And at this point, I am very nervous and frightened for Liam because that's where all of his hate and anger are going to be directed now. It's going to be directed at Liam. Now he does not have anything to distract him, right? So he doesn't have the Three Stooges to be worried about, to be threatening. Now if the truth is out, he's going to direct all of that anger towards Liam. And I'm really scared he's going to direct it towards Douglas. I hope he doesn't get Douglas back because I'm just scared for that poor little boy, to be honest. Now, Bill and Katie. I love that Bill is back on screen. He seems really happy with Katie, and I hope it lasts this time. Whether you're a fan of Katie and Bill or not, you have to admit that Katie absolutely makes him a better person and a better father. Absolutely. When he's not with Katie, he's crazy. He's all over the place. He does things that he regrets, things that he would never normally do. So I'm actually glad that they're back together. I just don't know how long it'll last. We'll have to see. Zoe and Xander. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. Bye-bye. They deserve to be fired, and honestly, they deserve a lot more than that. Let's just be real. They got super lucky. Super lucky. Ridge went way easier on them than I was expecting. I was surprised that he was that nice about it, to be honest. Brooke really was throwing them attitude and shade, but Ridge was trying to understand what the hell they were thinking. I'm not sure what will happen to them now that they don't have jobs and stuff. Like, LA is expensive. So I wonder if they will be going back to London. I'm not sure. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I cannot wait to see Hope and Liam confront everyone that was involved. It's going to be so good. And I'm so proud of Hope for yelling at Flo and for telling her like it is. And I still really hope that she slaps the crap out of Flo. Like, fingers crossed, guys, because I really want to see a slap. She deserves it. So does Zoe, really. Let's talk about Ridge for a second, because I really feel bad for Ridge. Okay? If I had children, it would absolutely kill me to see them in prison. And on top of that, he has to worry about Steffi. He has to be there for Steffi. On top of that, Taylor is not there. On top of that, he has to worry about Douglas, because now Douglas's father has decided to be MIA, and the poor kid doesn't have a mom. So it's like Ridge is just dealing with a lot. Like, it's just piling on and piling on. And it's really sad because he doesn't deserve all of this. Speaking of Steffi, she was only on Monday, but I can only imagine how she's feeling and what she's going through. My heart is breaking for her, but I have a solution. So now is a good time for me to remind you, all of you, of the questions of the week. Is Thomas redeemable? And who should raise Douglas? My answers are simple. Steffi should raise Douglas because he can help her get over Beth the same way he helped Hope. I think it's an absolutely perfect solution. That's his aunt. She could adopt him. She could raise him. I think it's an absolute perfect solution. I hate the idea of Steffi being pregnant again with Liam's child from one time on the 4th of July. I know everyone thinks that, but I am really hoping that's not the case. Steffi should raise Douglas for sure. That's my opinion. As for Thomas, I'm going to be honest. I think if he takes responsibility and he stops acting so manic and crazy, and he actually admits what he did, and he agrees to go get mental help in a facility, in a few years, they might be able to tolerate him. Not necessarily forgive him, but at least try to tolerate him, because he is family, and that is never going to change. So that brings us to the end of the episode. Don't forget to get in touch with me with your answers to this week's question. Is Thomas redeemable? And who should raise Douglas? You can get in touch with me at theboldandbeautifulpodcast.com. I am also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you listen on iTunes, please give me a 5-star rating and a review. You know the drill. It helps the podcast out. Thank you so much for your support and for listening to the podcast. I will be back in your ears next week I hope you guys have a great week and weekend. Until next time. Bye, guys.